Hi everyone, it's hard to believe it's mid-year, but it is, and there's a couple of things on the calendar I wanted to remind you of. The most important of which is the mid-year check-in with your manager. Checking in on the first half of the year and how you're doing against your goals. Encourage you to have an open and honest conversation with your manager about how you're doing against those objectives and things that your manager can do to help you in your development. Think about, has anything changed? Has anything shifted? Often we encourage people to think of most proud ofs and least proud ofs to make sure that they're having a candid conversation. I hope, and I think most of you have the kind of relationship with your manager where you can be very open and honest and you get feedback on a regular basis. But I would take this moment in time to do really a formal check-in on how you're doing in the first half of the year and what your plans are for the back half of the year. You all will have received an email by now reminding you to do your annual ethics, legal, and compliance training. Make sure that you put a couple of hours into your calendar to schedule to make sure that you get through this important annual item. It is also auditable, making it even more important. And there is something new this year, which I'm looking forward to trying myself. So there's an upfront proficiency test for certain modules, and if on your first try you score 80% or better, you don't have to go through the module, you just move on to the next one. So this is another great example of how employee feedback, including your feedback, has helped us to be a bit simpler and more intuitive in our employee programs. So take it from someone who's learned the hard way. Don't leave it to the last minute. This is due June 30th, so make sure you get on it right away. Thinking back to my video last month, you might have noticed that I'm no longer in my office on the 3rd floor at BMT. We're here on the new 12th floor, and we just moved into our new digs a few weeks ago, so we're still getting used to the space, but I thought for this month's video shoot it would be helpful to bring in our head of Workplace Transformation Program, Francine Bernstein, to give us a tour. So we'll be introducing Francine and showing you a little bit more about the floor. Hi, it's nice to see you here in the San Francisco room or space on the 12th floor. And so you and I have known each other for a long time, back from private bank days to HR days to IFL, and now you're leading our workplace transformation effort. So do you want to talk a little bit about the strategy that's got us here?
Sure. I was hoping to turn the mic on you and maybe ask you a question first, if that would be okay.
Okay.
So we're here in this very non-traditional space, wondering how you felt about it as you were going through the planning, because we have this very long planning introduction into pre-move. So maybe you can share a bit about how you felt about the plans before you moved and now how you're feeling living in the space.
So can I be honest?
Of course, please.
I was pretty skeptical. I was pretty stressed out about not having an office. Part of what we do as HR professionals, as you know, is have impromptu, candid conversations with people. So having a leader stop by and shut the door and come and sit in my office is something that I think is really important in the success of my job and my team's job. So it was pretty stressful, and I wasn't completely convinced, but I thought I'd give it a try, and your team did a great job of convincing us to give it a shot. And I am totally convinced this is the right way to go. So I love the space. I have Cam to the left of me, Paris to the right of me, Jennifer Hawkins, Andrews, Irvin, and Arbach, and we're connecting in different ways that we never really would have before. We literally come together and make immediate decisions. When the Ontario changes around housing happened a few weeks ago, there was a bunch of us that just assembled really quickly, made decisions in the moment, and then everybody kind of went back to their corners. So I'm convinced, and the moments of inconvenience, and there are a few of them, when I need to hop on my headset and hop into a room to take a confidential call, it's more than made up for in the way we're working together faster. And one of the benefits I actually didn't realize until we got into the space is when I was in my office on conference calls, I was multitasking. I was looking at my purse and looking at my screens, and now I go into a room and I'm just really focused on the call and the people I'm talking with, and that makes me way more productive. So I'm a convert. Congratulations.
Fabulous. That's great to hear. One of the things that you touched on that we keep looking to reinforce with our partners is, you say we convinced you, but I think you trusted us and you trusted the process, and we've worked really hard. As you know, Natalie Stewart's been leading our change management, And we've really worked to make sure that we're leading in. We're leading 120 days out, we start planning, and then we're with you on move day with HR support, tech support, real estate support, and then post-move 180 days out. We're in this together and learning from you, and that's going to inform what we do next. So thanks for trusting the process, and nice to hear you're converted. That's great. So let's get back to your original question around our objectives. So we have 3 equally weighted objectives for the program. The first is around working better, faster together, which is essentially our vision, and it's about pace and innovation and collaboration. The second is around attraction and retention of employees. We know that people want to work differently, people want flexibility and choice. And then the third objective is around cost savings. And so we came together with our advisory board to define our aspiration around talent experience and tools and technology, individual space and collaboration space. And so what you see here is a lot of us delivering against that aspiration. So as far as technology goes, you'll see we have dual monitors, we have the Surface Hub to bring people together through technology, Mediascape. We thought a lot about wellness, the wellness of the employee, so the sit-stand desks, the walk stations, the water filling stations. We've also really tried to think through and deliver against the objective of productivity and collaboration, and we've got lots of collaboration space, and finding that right balance between the individual space and the collaboration space, like you talked about. So you've got your individual space might be smaller, but you have lots of choice and flexibility when it comes to heads down time or collaboration space together with your partners.
Well, yeah, there's enough alone space for sure. And then I've been inviting my team members to come, and we go off and we sit in an alcove together or in one of the meeting rooms using couches or the little settees or a table, depending on the kind of conversation. And it's really made me anticipate better the kind of meeting I'm having. Am I having a one-on-one, say mid-year conversation where I just want to talk and focus on the person, or do we need to have a table between us with a screen that we're using? So the space is really versatile.
Exactly, and we had hoped to deliver that. So choice and flexibility. Do you want a more intimate setting? Is it a more formal setting? Should it be comfortable? And we've played with it, and with each pilot we're changing how we're using the space and how we're designing the space, because one pilot informs the next.
What did you tell them? Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Pictures came and broke your heart.
So you talked about one of the objectives being cost savings, and so efficiency and productivity is something that's on all of our minds. How does that factor into the decisions we're making about the program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So cost savings are important, and it is a productivity play, but it's not only about cost savings, and that's part of what we've been talking about in our Ask Me Anything town halls and in our communications. So there's definitely a big savings in reducing our footprint, and actually it's right-sizing our footprint. And we know on any given day, you probably have 10% vacant space on any floor because you have people on vacation, off sick, training. So we're really looking to densify, and that's driving significant cost savings, so much so that we can invest in the talent experience and invest in the tools and technology and still contribute to the bottom line. So there will be cost savings. And if we have it right, I think we're going to attack the numerator and the denominator on the productivity ratio. So we'll drive up our revenue by building loyalty, by coming together quickly to solve customer problems, and we will get to market faster with new innovation because we're working across silos, and that'll attack that numerator, and then we will save we'll save money in our occupancy costs, and so we think there's a big productivity play here.
So one thing I'm excited about is tomorrow is the first time I'm interviewing an external candidate on the floor. And I'm really excited to see how our candidates react to the space. We're hiring a lot more candidates who are digital, are millennials, and I think the space is really going to resonate with them. So I'll let you know how the space contributes to our ability to attract talent, but I'm fairly certain that it will. And then one thing, when people come and join us on the floor, sometimes it's the first question, and it's definitely a question they have before they leave. When is this space coming to where I work? So how does this space translate from being here on one floor in BMT to across the entire bank? What have you got planned for us?
Yeah, I get that question a lot too. So we're in pilot mode. And it's not pilot in terms of let's see if it works, and if not, we'll revert back to our old traditional layout. It's really a test and learn is how I would describe it. And we're committed through the third quarter of 2018 on these 5 pilots. So at 250 Yonge, here at BMT, we're piloting our first client-facing office in Edmonton. We did FCP 37, and so that's our current area of focus. At the same time, we've agreed that we feel this is the right footprint, and we're going to make adjustments, as I said earlier, based on what we're learning from the pilots, but this will ultimately become the new normal. That being the case, so we're thinking through our campus strategies, but we have a very vast real estate portfolio, global real estate portfolio, and so it's going to be a multi-year conversion before we can get everyone on board. And then we also recognize and we're thoughtful about that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and so we'll need to think about where it's the best fit and start there, considering 2 lease expiries, and eventually we will I'll have the opportunity to work in space like this.
Fantastic. Well, it's a great bricks and mortar representation of how we're transforming as a company and how we're working differently together. So thanks for joining me today. It's been so nice to reconnect, and congratulations to you and your colleagues. As a former skeptic, I know you guys had your work cut out for you, and it has been a resounding success, so congratulations. To conclude this month's video, I'd like to cast a spotlight on Natalie Scott, who is our Managing Director for Channels, PNC headquarters, contact center, and many other things. Natalie has a big job, and she's been with BMO for over 20 years. And I was recently able to acknowledge that contribution and such a significant milestone. I'm sure she started right out of high school. Natalie has had such a significant impact on many team members and colleagues across HR and across the bank. Those of you who know Natalie know she's known for her calm manner, insightful perspectives, and being really empathetic. You always know that Natalie's listening and that she cares. She's also wicked smart and is someone who I go to when I need some help understanding complex problems. She makes everything sound very understandable and interesting. And her business leaders love her, and so do I. So over to you, Natalie. Take it away.
Scott, and I work with a team of HR professionals supporting a number of groups in Canadian PNC, the North American Customer Contact Center, Channels, Fraud, and our headquarters groups, including the Office of the CAO. Supporting our headquarters groups, we've got the HR business partner team of Sean, Chris, and Lindsay, and they support our North American retail payments team, business banking and North American partnerships, and as well as our strategic product development, which includes digitization and analytics. Supporting North American Channels, the Fraud Group, and the Office of the CAO, we've got Nadal and Samira. And the third area we support is the North American Customer Contact Center, which is where we are today. And that team is ably supported by Marie, Laurie, Harjo, Andrea, and Sephora. There are 2 planks to our people strategy that are common throughout all of our portfolios: leadership development and effectiveness, and the work we're doing in support of the business transformation. Across all of our portfolios, our business partners play a role in introducing new leaders to the organization and developing the capabilities across our entire leadership spine. The reason we're here today at Meadowvale in the Contact Center is we're actually rolling out one of our workshops. We'll be going to all of our centers and talking to leaders about the need for self-care, resiliency, and how to show up as stronger and better leaders for their teams. I'm personally delighted that our keynote speaker for the event was Sandra Corelli, and she brought 90 minutes of an experience to our managers that really reminded them and built some capability around the need to take care of themselves so that they show up in a way that really matters to our teams and to our colleagues and allows them to be their best selves and ensure that they're pulling the best selves out of everyone on their team. The focus of the workshop is empathy and connection. And the way that we bring those 2 things to the conversations we have with our customers, we want to bring it in-house and have that same connection with our employees. The role of the leader is so key to the transformation initiatives that we have rolling out across all of our portfolios. Transformation is really where all of our groups come together as part of a broader ecosystem to deliver on an even greater customer experience. For those of you who aren't familiar with our Channels group, you can think of them as our architects of both our digital and our physical footprint. Much of our work in Channels and headquarters is in support of our goals, and their audacious goals, around customer loyalty and an NPS of 50, and mobile banking, being a digital-first bank in Canada in under 3 years. Much of our work focuses on emerging capabilities and initiatives that have to do with innovative products for our customers, our digitization efforts, deeper customer journey analytics, a new credit card and loyalty offering, and of course partnerships with fintechs and firms that will really get us to where we want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. At the heart of all this transformation work is the impact that we're having on our customers, which brings us back to where we are today, the Customer Contact Center, and the conversations that we're looking to have that are going to be different. They're going to be deeper, and our hope is that they'll be effortless. Effortless is really tied to our brand of being BMO and being simple and intuitive for our customers and allowing them to interact and do their banking the way they want to, whether it's through their phone, whether it's face-to-face with a trusted advisor in the branch, or whether it's calling into the Customer Contact Center and having immediate access to a friendly voice who knows how they can help. So as our customer expectations continue to change, so do our employee expectations. And as HR business partners and professionals, we need to keep up. Our business leaders are making some pretty important decisions right now that will change the shape of banking here at BMO. And as we pivot to new ways of working, our business leaders are really trusting the HR team to be a big part of that success along the way.